Hi guys, Doug and Phil here from the Farmlands Agronomy team. Today we thought we'd just jump on and share some tips and tricks around what to consider when looking to do a spring spray out, whatever that may be. That may be coming out of old winter crop, old pasture, etc., etc. But why it's so important in getting it right, isn't that right, Phil?
Yeah, that's right, Doug. Yeah. Morning, Doug. Morning, everyone. Yep, absolutely. Really important. I guess the first thing you want to be looking at, Doug, is your target weeds, and what you're wanting to kill, and also the next crop and what your plant back might be there. So generally, you're going to be going in with a glyphosate, but for a number of reasons, you need to be adding another AI. So a glyphosate spike like sort of Sharpen or Nail, or another product like some dicamba, perhaps, or versatile, something like that, depending on what your weeds are.
So why is it so important to add another AI in terms of your spring spray out, Phil?
Um, Resistance management really is first and foremost. With glyphosate, you're obviously just chucking in the one AI. We want to look after that active. As we know, we're hearing more and more about glyphosate resistance out there. I've seen firsthand situations where Sharpen has been put in the tank, and it's just a much better kill. I've seen it from above, looking down, and two paddocks side by side, one glyphosate Sharpen, and they're very two different kills. So if you're killing the plant, killing the plant dead, so to speak, you're getting a really good kill on the plant. You're never going to build up that resistance like you will if the plants, some of those tillers survive. So really key to get a good kill and adding that AI. Obviously, for broadleaf weeds, glyphosate will do a reasonably good job on a number of broadleaf weeds, but again, this is your one opportunity to get a really good kill and a clean seedbed. So yeah, by adding a product like like the ones I was talking about before, or depending on your weed spectrum, to get a good kill on those broadleaves.
Now, early on, you mentioned next crop or plant back. Why is
Yep.
that so important to make sure that you don't make any mistakes there in that scenario?
Yeah, really good question. So, a number of different species are affected, obviously, in different ways, and it's like choosing an active ingredient to kill a weed. Um, you know, Star Ain, for instance, is really good on dock and mallows and things like that, but weak on other things. So, these AIs, certain AIs, will be really effective at hurting your new crop coming through. So, if you were going in with, say, a fodder beet is one that's quite a common discussion at the moment, isn't it? And
Yes.
if you're going in and mayweeds or chamomiles were your problem weed, I wouldn't recommend going in with dicamba, because you've got a 90-day plant back there. Dicamba will knock around a young beet plant. And then again, if you're going in with a legume, if you're going into a permanent pasture and you're wanting to sow legumes, I wouldn't recommend going in with chlorpyrrolid or versatile, because you've got a 12-month
Yeah,
plant back there. So, yeah.
absolutely. No, I totally understand, and it's so important in getting it right. Hey, one thing that always comes up with a lot of either merchants or farmers is rates, and why
Mhm.
is it important to keep our rates? It's always good to try and cut a rate and try and keep our costs
Yeah,
down, but a lot of
absolutely.
time that can come back and bite us.
Yeah, it can, and there's your resistance management again. You don't want to be going on with half rates and half doing a job, because if you're putting a little bit of active into a plant and not killing it properly, that's your highway, or the fastest way to towards resistance. So by cutting rates, you're risking resistance. Uh, and so what I always try to do is with glyphosate is be around that, or greater than 1650 grams per active. So say you're working on a G360 brand, you'd be wanting to be above your sort of your 4.6 litres, because your 4.6 times your 360 is around that 1650 grams per active. So there are other products here like Crucial, which is 600 grams. So obviously you can pull your rate back slightly, but still aiming to be well above that 1600 grams per active.
Yeah. And water rates too are important, Phil?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, probably my default is 200 litres per hectare, and I think that's probably the most common. They may drop to 150 at times, depending on the size of the paddock and the contractor if he's wanting to get that paddock sprayed in one load or in two loads. So and 150 is fine. Around the world, I think 100, 150 is quite common. So we are quite high, but yeah, absolutely. The more cover you get, the better. There are some great products out there as well that do help with coverage. So and adjuvants that do help with coverage. But yep, try and keep those rates up around that 200 litres.
Cool. There was a couple of points you just brought up there that I grabbed. Now, one was what they call good coverage, but it's not just necessarily the water rate, but it's also what the crop looks like at the time and how much green leaf is there left as a residual, and why is that important, Phil?
Yeah, so particularly in older pastures, everyone wants to get the most out of their pasture, so they wanted to graze it hard and or sorry, graze it and get all that dry matter that they've got there, and then let it freshen up a little bit and spray it. But what you're doing there, you basically got an iceberg. You've got an old pasture, massive root system below the ground, and only a little bit of green leaf area. Any of those tillers that haven't got any green leaf won't be killed, so they will come back and haunt you later, and potentially won't kill that part of the plant in the ground. So really, the key is to have good green leaf area above the ground, obviously, so that that plant can capture as much of that chemical and take it into the roots to kill those roots. And yeah, common practice is to spray and then potentially graze again afterwards. But obviously, you need to be careful when you're doing that, depending on what the animal is there for. Whether you don't want to be probably doing that with a milking cow or a lamb going to slaughter in the near future. So.
No, good points. And the next point you mentioned there was the importance of adjuvants or penetrants or stickers, wetters, all this sort of terminology is thrown around. So maybe it's probably worth covering that point.
Yep, absolutely. So when spraying out an older pasture, and certain times of the year are slightly different. Most plants will have a waxy surface. It's like their sunscreen, and particularly, as we get a little bit warmer, that waxy surface will become greater, and that's obviously there to protect the plant. And we need to penetrate through that to be able to get the chemical into the sap flow. So that's where the penetrant adjuvants are really key, particularly when spraying out herbicides. People also often talk about spreaders. Now, spreaders will flatten out the droplet and make the droplet in contact with more leaf area. So that's also a very good option as well. I wouldn't put both in there. Some of your better your Weed Master, your 470s, your Crucials, those products do have a number of surfactants in there, but I would still be adding a penetrant in there most of the time. Yeah.
Cool. Hey, thanks, Phil. Some really good tips and tricks there. Hey, one question we do get quite a bit is, do I need to be careful when spraying out flowering weeds like dandelions if bees are present?
Yeah, absolutely, we do. Obviously, I remember last year on the news there was a few articles around glyphosate being found in honey. So we want to avoid that. Honey's a big export product for us, so we want to avoid that. So yeah, if you can, if it's just one or two flowers, probably not too much of a concern. Try and spray in the morning or in the evening when there's not so many bees around. But if it is an old pasture or something that's got a lot of clover in the bottom and it is flowering, my suggestion would be to try and graze that or top those flowers off if you can before spraying. We don't want the bees to be in contact with that glyphosate, but also the surfactants that we were just talking about. they can be very harmful to the bees, and if the bees are present, they get on the back of the bees, and from what I understand, they suffocate the bees. Yeah, a lot of bees have been found dead due to surfactant residual being found on their carcass.
Yeah, no, really good point. Hey, and one of the other questions we always get is the old thistle, whether it be a Scotch thistle, a Kelly, or a nodder, in terms of these spray outs. Any tips there?
Yeah, know what you're killing first and foremost. Yeah, a thistle isn't just a thistle. The nodder can be a big rosette, so you need to get out with a spade or a knife and chop it off at ground level and see how big it is at ground level. We always talk about the old 20-cent piece. Some people looking at this may not understand the size of an old 20-cent piece. I still use it referring to as a towing cost because
Yes.
it's a lot bigger than the new 20-cent pieces. But yeah, understand the size of the base of that plant, if that's a nodding thistle, and determine what's going to be the best kill, and also what you're going into next if you are looking at spraying those out. Because if you're going into clover, like I said before, you won't want to be putting versatile on there. 2,4-D is a good option. Your relays or your pasture cleans, and they've got a 28-day plant back. Now your Cali thistles are a different beast altogether. They have a massive root system under the ground, so they are not going to be a one spray kill generally. You're going to have to hit them a couple of times, and when they've got their rosebud up, which is generally in December, is the best time to kill those, because that's when their sugar flow is heading back into the roots to be stored. Before that, all the flow is heading towards the seed head. So once you've got that seed head out, that marbled type seed head, yeah, a good time to spray, and that's generally late November, December in Canterbury in particular. So yeah.
Hey, cool. Thanks, Phil. Really good tips and tricks there. I think for what I can tell, there's 5 or 6 really key things to make sure we get right, and that's target weeds, make sure you know what you're spraying, be aware of the next crop and the plant back. Certainly be aware of resistance management, because that's something that we need to be aware of. We want to make sure we've got glyphosate and these chemicals around for a long time. The importance of rates, making sure we keep not just the chemical rates up, but our water rates high to make sure we get that good coverage and that good kill. And the importance of averages too, in terms of spiking that brew to make sure we get a good kill as well.
Perfect. Yep.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Phil. And for everybody out there, hey, any tips or any questions, don't be afraid to reach out to your local Farmlands branch or your local Farmlands TFO. More than welcome to help you on any of these if you have any further questions. So thanks, guys, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Cheers.